Big changes coming to high school sports here in Michigan, and kind enough to join us, Jeff Kimmerly from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Appreciate your time today as NIL expands here in Michigan.
Yeah, glad to explain this. There's a lot of new things going on in this landscape, and we have some pretty big changes today.
I mean, you guys call it personal branding activities. This has been discussed here in Michigan for a few years now. But what made you guys want to expand this, and what is being included now in this expansion for NIL with high school athletics?
Sure. So we started talking about this probably 5 years ago. That's when the college space began to change. That's when some of the first states began to allow some NIL or branding opportunities within their high school sports and school sports scenes. And 3 years ago, we probably started talking about things a little bit more intensely. There was a bill that was in the Michigan House that we had a lot of input on. We had worked with the sponsor on that. And at that time, we had said, we could be good with something that was individual opportunities for individual student athletes. Anything that looks like a group activity or a collective, like you would see at the college level, we would absolutely not have been in favor of. But individual opportunities was something that we know we could work with our schools on and make fit into the greater framework of what we do at the MHSAA. So for the last 3 years, we've really spoken at pretty much any time we've been in front of our member schools, whether it be our athletic directors, principals, superintendents, leagues, conferences, you name it. This is something that has been brought up. A lot of that has been monitoring what other states have been doing, and just letting people know where that's gone, where it's going. I think the luxury of being one of the last states to have a branding sort of policy like this is we've been able to see what's happened in other states that's worked, maybe what hasn't gone as well. We think by calling it a personal branding activities policy, we're really doing a better job of explaining what is allowed, because it can be really any kind of marketing opportunity, advertising, speaking for products, autograph sessions, merchandising, any kind of endorsement, you name it. Those are the things that we've opened up for our student athletes at the school sports level. But at the same time, we've kept this thing as an individual opportunity only. Our students have to disclose to us what those activities are, and the MHSA has to approve them. So all of those things, all of the criteria we have there, we believe will allow us to keep the rest of what makes school sports wonderful intact. The competitive equity that we've always worked to keep intact, and the fact that this is really an extension of the classroom. And for the great majority of our 180,000 student athletes who won't be affected by NIL whatsoever or PBA whatsoever, they'll still be receiving those benefits.
I think a lot of people too, Jeff, hear the letters NIL and they think of college sports and see that it's kind of like a Wild West landscape right now. And I found it very interesting that in you guys' release, it said that you have kind of guardrails in place to exclude possibilities of collectives, boosters, and school people getting involved in all this. What does that look like to kind of keep that playing field the way it is for you guys and not let it expand beyond those boundaries?
Well, and that's really where the strength of what we do lies is in keeping these as educational athletics and keeping our competitive equity intact. And so when we were forming this policy, obviously a big part of it was looking at who was allowed to work with student athletes to secure these sort of deals and things like that. And we have put some significant safeguards in place to make sure that is no one that is connected to a school in any way. No one that's connected to an athletic program, and really it even goes a little bit deeper than that in terms of past connections and things like that, because we want to make sure that those things are not related to each other whatsoever. We do not want this to be a reason that a student leaves one school and goes to another, or leaves one coach and goes to play for another. That is something that we plan on following most intently. And the penalties are harsh, and not harsh, they're severe, let's say.
Okay.
we're talking about students' eligibility. We're talking about a school potentially losing its MHSA membership. I can't think of any marketing opportunity that's worth taking a chance on those things.
I mean, you look at that. I mean, that's what kind of penalties are we talking here?
Well, exactly that. If an athlete, they have to disclose their deals, and we'll tell them this is either approved, or this is something that would put your eligibility in jeopardy. So it's the opportunity to play a sport. And if we have a school that is doing things to be part of their students' NIL, which is strictly prohibited, that school's membership will be discussed.
Yeah.
And that's not something that we just throw around lightly by any means, but that's how serious we're taking the possibilities of people if they are going to break or even blur the line of what we've
Sure.
laid out there today.
There are so many kids across the state of Michigan who play high school sports. We were just kind of discussing it a little bit, and only a fraction of those students will benefit from this. Have you put a number on how many students you think can benefit from this in like on a yearly basis?
So it's anecdotal at this point because it's really based
Sure, you're
on
just
what
starting
we've
out.
heard from others from other states. But what they have told us is this hasn't really affected athletics in their state at the school level. There really hasn't been any kind of impact that affects what they do from a state association point of view, from a school sports point of view, from a competitive equity point of view. And when we're talking about some of these deals where some bigger dollars might be involved, I mean, everybody is saying that it's a fraction of a percent of students potentially in their states who might be able to benefit from something like this.
Mhm.
It's that 5-star athlete who already has a following, who already has a brand, who can give some return on investment to these companies who have the money to potentially do these things. Uh, at the college level, you see that more now,
Mhm.
but at the high school level, it's just very, very few. And that's why, again, for the great, 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 great majority of our student athletes, this isn't going to potentially, um, even come into their orbit. We are interested to see what might happen at a local level, where there's
Sure.
a chance, maybe locally to endorse a business or something like that. But again, they can't have any ties to a school program, a school facility, school employees, etc. So those are all things that families have to keep in mind if they're going to uh, try and capitalize on some of these opportunities.
I was gonna say, so like, how would you use an example for this? I mean, you bring up like a hyper local level. Could it be
Mhm.
as simple as a local restaurant in somebody's community who wants to have this kid be part of an advertising campaign? Is that what we're kind of talking about?
Yeah, I think that's I think that's the opportunity that we're interested in seeing because we have some specific dollar amounts uh, that a restaurant, for example, or another business can't have donated to a school over the last however many years. It
Okay.
really is to dissuade donors and boosters from being the ones that provide NIL to students. So a student and a student's family will have to really vet what this business's relationships have been to the school in the past and make decisions based on that.
Does it kind of because you think about it, in like a local business, a lot of times are affiliated with the high schools in communities, especially that
Mm-hmm.
are tight knit. So in some ways, could this not happen in some areas at a hyper local level?
That's certainly a question we've asked.
Yeah, I
Again,
mean, this is
these are
something you
all
really go into and you don't know
they're
until it,
all
it
instances
happens.
we're throwing out there.
Yeah.
I feel like we've tried to go through every possible example because the people in this building come from communities all over the state,
Yeah.
literally. And so we've kind of seen it all, and we've tried to put all those out there, and so it's hard to say. It's hard to
Yeah.
say if businesses will just try and stay away from the whole thing at a local
Mhm.
level, um, or how their relationships might change with their local schools. Uh, I would it's hard to say. I can't
Yeah,
even speculate.
sure.
But again, with all those things having to be disclosed, it
Hmm.
won't take a very long time for us to have a pretty decent idea of what's going on out there, and then year to year how those things change.
So how is this process going to work? Does a kid go out, try to get some type of NIL deal, and then comes to the high school athletic association and say, here's what I have, you guys vet it, and then you go from there? Is that kind of in general how the process is going to
It's
work?
it's it's it can be something like that. So I mean, I've already seen on X today an athlete say, "Well, now that these are opened up, I'm happy to work with any brands in this sport sort of thing." So
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be some students who uh, try to pursue opportunities. I think a lot of things that are going to happen at the higher money level will be companies coming in pursuing students that they feel like are well known already. Either way, once there's a deal in place, once a contract has been signed, uh, that family has 7 days to present the paperwork that we require, and then we'll have that obviously on hand for record keeping and also to approve. We'll be able to look at that and say, okay, this actually does not fit this criteria, or the people who
Hmm.
are involved in securing this are or are not allowed to do so, and then we can move from there.
Well, it's a new age of high school sports, that is for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
It
Jeff,
is.
appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks.